If your Amazon listings aren't showing up in the search results, ranking and converting, then you're probably missing the right keyword strategy. In this ultimate guide, I'm walking you through my exact process that we've used to help over 2,500 brands rank on page one, drive sales, and convert like crazy. And to make it even easier to follow along, I put together a workbook and checklist that you can use to follow along step by step. I'll tell you how to grab that in a bit. Whether you're launching a new product or optimizing an existing listing, this is your complete step-by-step blueprint for keyword research success on Amazon. Let's dive in. These are the 5 things you must do if you want to rank on page one and get in front of the right customers on Amazon. This is how you identify winning keywords that will connect you with eager customers. No matter what tools you use, keyword research is an essential step of launching and optimizing your product pages. I've been helping brands conduct effective keyword research for their Amazon businesses since 2016. Back then, tools were very limited and data was next to non-existent. But since then, I've worked with over 2,500 brands, and not only have the processes become more refined, but the tools allow us to go deeper and deeper to truly identify those phrases that are going to move the needle and unlock that growth that's necessary for long-term success. And these are the critical points that you must consider if you want to conduct keyword research like a pro. Even as we move into an AI, social media driven customer buyer journey, keywords are still one of the most critical pieces that you must identify in order to succeed today. Keywords, in an essence, are the words or phrases that your customers are using to try to find your products, so that when they are going into the search bar on Amazon, they are using the words that are going to help them find that thing that they need or want to solve their burning problem. Now, sometimes they have great clarity and they know exactly the words to use, and other times they may be looking for a solution and they don't know the exact name of the product, and so they'll use a combination of words to try to describe it and get close to what they're after. They may type these phrases in full, or they may opt to use the autocomplete search results option that are auto-populated in the search bar when they start typing. And of course, all of this is assuming that your customers are using the search bar to search for your product. We also know that within Amazon, customers can use tools like Rufus or Interests, or outside of Amazon, tools like Perplexity or ChatGPT, all in the hopes of trying to find a product that is exactly right for their needs. The other thing that's really important to be considering about keywords is that they are not static. They can change over time due to trends, category maturity, and how much the average consumer knows about a particular product or category, as well as seasonality. So keywords are not something that you identify once and you're done. These are a critical piece of information that you are going to want to be revisiting over and over and over again, not only for your SEO strategy, but we also know that this is going to inform your advertising strategy as well. Not to mention the fact that keywords can be great clues into who your customers are and what they're searching for, so that you can present and position your product in a way that reinforces that you are the solution that they are looking for. Keywords matter because they are the gateway to the people that want to buy your products. They are the bridge. Here is your customer, here is your product, and the keywords are building a bridge to connect your customers to your product page. Without that, they're never going to find you, and your customers are probably going to be buying from your competitors instead. That is why the right keyword research strategy is so critical to your success on Amazon. And keep watching, because I'll show you exactly how to find the highest intent keywords that your competitors are missing entirely. And while it's important to understand how customers are engaging with, thinking about, and searching for products that you sell across the internet, it's also incredibly important that you are using the right tools that are going to give you the data that you need for each individual platform that you're selling on. So when you are trying to find the right keywords for your Amazon business, then you want to make sure that you are using a tool that is going to give you that data. Conversely, for Walmart or for your website and optimizing it for Google. So using the right tools that are going to give you the data that are specific to that platform are so important because customers search for things in different ways depending on where it is that that search originates. My two favorite tools are Helium 10 and Data Dive. You can find discount codes and links to both of those down below. Now they are affiliate links, meaning that I do make a small commission if you choose to sign up. However, I'd really appreciate if you do use those links should you decide to sign up because they help support my ability to continue to create content to help you grow and scale your e-commerce business. So without further ado, let's dive into the 5 critical pieces that you must identify when you are conducting effective keyword research. The first is relevance. You are going to be tempted when you do your keyword research and you see all of these high search volume keywords, they're going to be luring you to want to focus on them. And I'm going to advise you right now that that is a decision that could really hinder your growth potential. The higher the search volume, the more general the keywords, and meaning that they are not as likely to truly be how customers are searching for a product like yours. For example, let's use our imaginary product that we have been using to build out an Amazon listing strategy. If you haven't tuned in, I highly suggest that you go ahead and subscribe because I am walking you through every single step of the process that we follow to help brands rank number 1, grow their sales, and find success on Amazon. And in this imaginary brand that we are building, we are selling bully sticks. They are a single ingredient dog treat. Now, if I am doing my keyword research and I see keywords like dog products, those are relevant to my products because they fit into the very broad category of what I'm selling, but they are not at all specific to the more nuanced needs that a customer would be looking for in order to find a product like mine. So you want to make sure that you are not only relevant in a broad sense, but also relevant in a more specific sense that is going to put you onto the search results page of other products that are exactly like yours. You shouldn't just try to sneak your way onto a product page where you don't belong because that's going to be expensive to compete in and very difficult to really be able to make serious headway. This is also because of point number 2, which is buying intent. Now, buying intent refers to where somebody is in their buying journey. Are they doing online window shopping or are they going to Amazon because they have an immediate need that they are looking to solve? Those that are in the second category, those that are the keywords that a customer is going to be using because they are ready to buy now, are the ones that you should really be focusing your efforts on. And so oftentimes those high buying intent and highly relevant keywords are going to be the longer keywords that have more descriptive words and that are also going to be lower search volume. But within that, they are going to be all customers that want to buy your exact product. It's also likely to be less competition and easier to be able to rise in the ranks around keywords like that. I alluded to this just now. The level of competition is absolutely something that you want to be considering because the more competing products there are around a keyword, the harder it's going to be able to gain traction. Oftentimes, the higher the search volume, the higher the competition, because the higher the search volume, the broader and more generic the keyword, and as such, the more products that could fit within that relevance basket. And so make sure that when you are evaluating your priority of keywords, that you are considering that the keywords that you are choosing are not overly saturated, because not only is it going to be difficult to be able to rank well and get in front of your customers, but if you are planning to spend any money on ad campaigns, which you really should be, it's going to be very expensive to be running campaigns on those keywords. So you really ideally want to be looking for those low competition keywords that are highly relevant, highly specific, highly driven, eager customers. And those 4 things are already getting us so close to a really honed in keyword strategy. But there's still the 5th point, which is seasonality. And this is something that's so easy to overlook, because when you are running your keyword research, you are looking at keywords for right now. However, many of us, even if we are not selling a traditionally seasonal product, there will still be an ebb and flow of interest in our products that could have to do with when customers are replenishing or thinking about it or restocking. Even if we're thinking about something like a bully stick, I imagine that more people are getting puppies in spring and fall and summer than they are in winter time, because having to potty train a puppy in the dead of winter when it's freezing outside isn't fun for anybody. Now, this is just a little bit of speculation on my part. This is something that you would want to look into that historical data to see whether there is anything that is influenced by the seasons, by holidays, or by other elements like weather that we just spoke about. All of these details are going to influence what keywords you use now, but also how you may want to adjust your keyword strategy throughout the year. So don't just assume that these keywords you've chosen are going to be the best keywords for you to use 6 months from now, not only because of what we spoke about at the beginning of this video with the way that trends and categories change over time, but also with the natural ebb and flow of interest and how people are searching for products and solutions over the year. That is just perhaps even a cyclical thing that is more or less the same every single year. You are going to want to be aware of those so that you can optimize your strategy and content accordingly. And there is a bonus: customer clues. I alluded to this earlier, but this is so key, because oftentimes when we are looking at keywords, we start to get insights about who our customers are, what they care about, and then from there, identify what are those keywords that are really coming from our customer avatars. So this could be bully sticks for young puppies, or bully sticks for specific breeds of dogs, or bully sticks for highly active animals. All of these details are not just surface level information of how a customer is searching for your product. These hold clues that your customers are giving you about what they care about. If you can really think about those, choose the right keywords, and then refine your content strategy to speak to them, you can make it seem so obvious that your product is the one that they are looking for that they won't even consider your competitor. Now, one thing that's important to keep in mind before we jump into the tools is where you are in the life cycle of your product. The keywords that you use to launch a product versus once you're already established and you've built that momentum and you're trying to take your performance to the next level may not be the same. When you're just starting out, those lower search volume, super specific keywords are going to be your best friend. But as your brand grows and builds awareness and traction and reviews, then you may begin to expand out your strategy to also include more competitive, higher search volume keywords. But it's all about understanding where you are with your business, what kind of budget you have, how aggressive you intend to get, amongst a variety of other factors. The point being that your keyword strategy should grow and evolve alongside your brand. So now that you understand the pillars of successful keyword strategy, let's roll up the sleeves that I'm not wearing and let's get tactical. In this next section, I'll walk you through exactly how we use our favorite tools to identify those high intent, low competition keywords that can unlock major growth fast. This is exactly how I use Data Dive to hone in on winning keywords to be able to then weave into your Amazon listing copy and set you up on the path for success. If you're not using Data Dive yet, I highly suggest you check it out. Plus, with the code Emma20, you can save 20% off your membership for lifetime. I am creating a whole series of videos that walk you through my proven process that I have used to help over 2,500 brands scale successfully on Amazon, everything from customer research all the way through the entire listing optimization process. And in today's video, we are diving into a key part of our keyword research process, which is how we use Data Dive to quickly and easily find high value keywords that we can then naturally weave into the content of our listing. Data Dive gives you an abundance of information and it's all super easy to find. But like any tool, there is a learning curve. So I thought it might be helpful to walk you through not only how we use Data Dive, but then how we take that information and digest it so that we can find the meaningful information that we need in order to help create the best listing content possible. Okay, so when you are using Data Dive, it all starts with creating a tray of products that are similar to what it is that you are selling. And in this whole series where I am walking you through my listing optimization process, we have been building an imaginary brand around bully sticks, which are a single ingredient dog treat. So in order to fill my tray by the Data Dive lingo, I have gone to Amazon.com and I am going to search for bully sticks. And so I'm going to go scroll through the results and I'm going to start filling my tray. So you can see as I'm scrolling here, you need to have the Data Dive extension downloaded in order to be able to use this part of the tool. So you can see here that I have the ability to add to tray. So I'm going to want to start adding to tray. Now, not all of these are ones that I'm going to add in, but 4-inch, 8-ounce bully sticks, that seems like a good one. I'm going to want to get a variety here. So I'm going to add these Red Barn, Nature's Nos. Our dive box is full, which means it is, and I can pull that up even if I want. And so now when I pull up the dive box, you can see here the items that I added into my tray are appearing right here. And now I need to create a new niche. Okay, so I create a new niche, bully sticks. So I can also do something called best competitors, which is another way of being able to really quickly identify a whole list of 100 top competitors. So Data Dive, what I really like about it is that it's all about honing quickly into the information that you need so that you're not slogging through a lot of manual labor to identify your top competitors, those key differentiation opportunities, as well as the actual keywords that you need to be including in your content. So if I click discover, okay, so it has pulled up a big list of potential competitor options. I've had it pre-select what it considers to be the top 15. And to round things out, let's just include a handful more. Okay, so I've selected 23 ASINs. We have the hero keyword here. Now I dive. So there are two main ways that you can add listings to your tray and then run your dive to extract all of that data. And some of that is just going to depend on the specifics, and determining which way to do it is somewhat depend upon your circumstances. For example, if you are selling into a pretty established category where the direct competitors are obvious, obvious, then the niche dive is going to be really fast, quick, and easy. However, if you are selling something that maybe is a little bit outside of the box, it doesn't have one specific category that it falls into, or it's a bundle, or it's something that has different components that do not exactly align with your top competitors, then you may want to do a more manual creation of your tray, combining different competitors that represent different aspects of the product that you're selling, because you do want to make sure that you are being as comprehensive as possible. But that is also one area where Data Dive sometimes misses the mark, which is why we always make sure to combine our Data Dive research with our other favorite tool. Quick pause. What's your favorite keyword tool? Drop it in the comments. I would love to know what your favorite tool is to find those golden keyword opportunities. And if you're thinking, wow, this is a lot of data, you are not wrong. That's why I created a companion worksheet that walks you through my exact process to identify and prioritize the most important keywords. I'll link that down below. Make sure to go ahead and grab yours right now so that you can use it to follow along. So now let's go back. We have gotten the data, and now we need to evaluate the data. Now, like the name suggests, Data Dive gives us a lot to work with. It's great, it's super helpful, but it is also a lot. So you can see here we're in the master keyword list, and there are all sorts of different details that we can choose to show. We can see here all of the competitors that we are competing against. You see where they are denoted as very strong or weak. So those strong ones are going to be tough to compete against. The weak ones are going to be perhaps some of our better opportunities here. You're actually seeing how they are performing with these different keywords. It's all color coded, so it's quite easy to follow. And these are what Data Dive has selected as our top keywords, the most valuable, the most important. And it has a proprietary algorithm that is factoring in relevancy, as well as search volume, as well as how competitive a keyword is, to really help you hone in on what the most valuable keywords are going to be. So we see that in this case, it is giving us plenty to work with. And this might also give us some good insight into opportunities for keywords that are really specific to the customers that we have identified. And if you don't remember, we have identified that our target customers are millennials that do not have children, that have a high energy dog, that want a natural, healthy way to be able to channel some of their destructive energy. It might be a puppy. They might also be working a lot, and so they want to make sure that their dog is well taken care of with a high quality treat. And they don't want to just give it something that's plastic or that could be harmful or dangerous or whatnot. So you are going to want to, and this is where things can get a little bit tedious, but you are going to want to go through this entire list to identify a few different things. What are those winning keywords where you have an opportunity to carve out some of your own part of the competitor pie? Also, you want to keep an eye out for words that you're either going to want to avoid or use very carefully, because sometimes you will find that those really high value seeming keywords are actually ones that could get you into trouble, whether they are keywords that have some kind of prohibited language, which I wouldn't necessarily expect in this particular product's case, but those can certainly populate and come up in other categories. In addition, this is also where sometimes your competitors' branded keywords are going to sneak in, and those could absolutely get you in trouble. So you see here something like Bow Wow Ballistics, Natural Farm Ballistics. I believe that both of those are competitor brand names, also Pawstruck, Pupford. So any of the keywords like that, we're going to want to avoid unless there is some kind of way that we can integrate them that is in line with Amazon's best practices and just general marketing and advertising rules. However, we are not going to get into that today because because we are talking about evaluating and finding good keywords. So what's really excellent is when you find those keywords that have high search volume, that have high relevancy, and that your competitors are not necessarily doing a great job of using. So then we would need to painstakingly go through this whole list, which I'm not going to do with you today because we would be here for a very long time, but it doesn't stop there because this is the master keyword list. So this is what Data Dive has considered to be the best keyword options possible, but there are also these outliers and residue. And I know that this sounds like a lot of work, but this is so important because this is part of the foundations of setting your business up for success. So you don't want to just be dismissive of this or say, okay, well, I've looked at the master keyword list. That's enough. I'm good, because we can see right off the bat, dog chews for aggressive chewers, dog chews rawhide free. There are long lasting dog chews. There are some really valuable keywords here that for whatever reason it is saying are not super relevant, but we know are. Now in this outliers, we're also going to find keywords that are less relevant, like dog cheese or collagen sticks. So you're going to find less of the keywords that you are looking for here, but you don't want to write it off. And then lastly, we do have the residue. So these are most likely going to be the least relevant of all the words. But as we've established, even if there are 1 or 2 gems in there, that could really make a huge difference with your business. So it really is worth investing the time into doing this right. Or if you feel like this is all just way too much and you want somebody to take it off your plate, this is absolutely something that we can help you with. So just go ahead and fill out that form below to get your free listing analysis, or reach out to us directly, and we would be happy to help you launch or optimize your Amazon listing. In the next section, I'll show you how to plug these keywords into your listing without keyword stuffing and compare your listings against your top competitors. Now, Data Dive gives us all kinds of information that we can use in the actual listing creation process, including a deep dive that gives us information about the different products and shows us a full breakdown that includes all of our competitors' images, how long they've been selling, average price. So lots of really great planning resources here. So now I'm just going to preview something really important for you, but we will go deeper into this in a future video where we talk about actually implementing the keywords into the listing. But I still wanted to show this to you in the event that you are already at this stage and you are chomping at the bit, ready to get to optimizing your listing. The listing builder is a really great tool to help you keep track of what keywords you're using where. It is also helping you evaluate the quality of your SEO score in contrast to your competitors. So as you write your title, or in our case, we don't actually write it in Data Dive, but we will write it in a document and then we will put it into Data Dive to see how things are scoring and how our keyword utilization is going. And then from there, what is also super cool is it is showing you how the competitors that you've selected stack up to you. So it gives you this overall listing ranking juice. And if you want to see how we start to raise that, like let's just take this keyword right here, bully sticks for medium dogs. If I put that into my title, bully sticks for medium dogs. Now I would format this correctly with proper capitalization, but when I do that, you see that this overall listing ranking juice pops right up, and now it is showing me how I am stacking up against the competitors. So you can see that I have 284,501 ranking juice points, I guess, to go in order to surpass Woof if I want to do that. As I fill in the keywords, what's really cool here is you see, because I use bully sticks for medium dogs, it's also noting bully sticks for dogs, bully sticks, bully stick, dog bully sticks. So it's making it super simple for me to be able to keep track of things and also avoid being repetitive, which is super easy to do if you're not using a tool like this. And then the last super cool thing that I like about using Data Dive for listing optimization is the battle of the listings. So when you go to the battles of the listing, you can actually compare how each part of your listing stacks up to your competitors. So we can see my title and my ranked juice versus my different competitors' ranked juice. And similarly, once I have my bullets written and my description written, it's a great way to really be able to fully maximize my keyword utilization potential. While I love Data Dive for how fast and easy it makes finding great, valuable insights and information and keywords and then helps me implement all of that information into a solid listing optimization strategy, there are some gaps that I always want to make sure to fill so that I do not leave a single high value keyword phrase behind. By the way, quick pro tip, if your brand registered, which you absolutely should be for so many reasons, then that means you have access to Amazon's search query performance dashboard. This will give you a bounty of information and knowledge that you can use and compile alongside your findings from Data Dive and Helium 10. It will tell you the actual phrases that customers are using to find your product and where you're gaining and losing visibility. It's a great way to validate your keyword strategy or identify some other missed opportunities. Data Dive gives us fast, structured insights, but many of us have some facet of our product that is unique and different from our competitors, so that's where Helium 10 comes in. In this next section, I'll show you how we use its advanced filtering features to really identify and hone in on those keywords that you might be missing out on if you rely only on Data Dive. Plus, if you really want to make sure you're not missing anything, make sure that you grab that worksheet that's linked down below. It'll guide you through the complete process from start to finish. Amazon SEO is not what it used to be, but finding the right keywords to use in your listing optimization, to inspire your content strategy, and to target your ads is critical to your success. Whether you want to use Helium 10 as your sole keyword tool or as an amplifier for tools like Data Dive, I'm walking you through how I use Helium 10 to identify keyword opportunities that other tools leave on the table. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty. Now, some of the reasons why I like Helium 10 is it allows me to find highly specific keywords that I'm not able to find in other tools, particularly if the product that I am trying to run research for has some truly unique components or elements that are not reflected in the competition. So while Data Dive makes things very streamlined, fast, and easy, it lacks some of that flexibility that is necessary to making sure that no stone goes unturned. Helium 10 is also great for identifying seasonality and trends because it does give you access to historical data. So if you're trying to forecast for next summer or Valentine's Day, then you can look at how those search trends change throughout the year, as well as if there are trends happening. All of those details are so important because, as we know, nothing is static in the world of e-commerce, including how customers are searching for your products. So the way that customers might search for your item in the spring is not necessarily the same as they will in the fall, and you need to know that if you want to get your product in front of those customers. And bonus, it also gives you the ability to search for Walmart search terms. So if you are having a diversification plan in place, then you have the ability to identify whether Walmart is a good opportunity for you. And if you choose to sell on Walmart Marketplace, then you have access to finding those keywords that you are going to need in order to be successful there, because what works on one platform does not at all translate to what is going on another marketplace. Now, as you're watching this video, if you realize that Helium 10 is a tool that you absolutely want to add to your toolbox, then I do have a couple of discount codes that you can use to save on your subscription. Both of those are in the description box below. Okay, so just logged into Helium 10. We are going to go to the tools. So the two tools that we really like to use in Helium 10 in particular are Cerebro and Magnet. You can see with both of these that they have the plus Walmart, which is pretty cool. So the Cerebro function is going to be very similar to how we use Data Dive. This is a reverse ASIN tool that will take competitor listings and show you the keywords that they are indexing and ranking for, along with a whole host of other data. So we need some competitor ASINs, which if you don't know what an ASIN is, or ASIN, that is a unique identifier that Amazon uses for each individual product, and you can find it on the product page, but you can also find it in the URL if you click into a product from the search results page. So for example, I'm here on a thick bully sticks for dogs, so I can just highlight and copy that and then go over into Cerebro. And then if I wanted to do another product, then I can go ahead and find that ASIN right here and copy that over into Cerebro as well. So I have two options of what I can do with this. I can either use this tool to get competitors or get keywords. So if I don't want to have to go through a big variety of products, then I can choose those directly from here, making it easy. So I just select the ones that I want: Red Barn, Mighty Paw, Nature Naws, Cadet, Paw Struck. Just want to get a good variety here. How many have I selected? Oh, I've got them all. So now I have 10, which is the maximum amount of ASINs I can use for this search. And now it's time to get my keyword. What we're about to do is something that 90% of sellers skip, and that's why their listings never rank and their ads burn cash. Let's make sure that's not you. So you can see here, I now have my results populated, and before I even get to those, I get to something that is really unique about Helium 10, which is that I have all of these filters that I can set to really begin to specifically hone in on the types of keywords that I'm looking for. It does also have some preset options as well. So it says brand name removal if there are competitor brand names in there, I'm assuming, excluding special characters. So if there's anything funky that I don't want. Top keywords. So this says main keywords commonly used by competitors and have a substantial search volume, or opportunity keywords, which I already read this and it is a bunch of gobbledygook. But my impression of what they are trying to do with this opportunity keywords are ones that may have low competition, relatively high search, and could be those golden ticket opportunities to really be able to rise up in the ranks and build momentum. And you see, that's not all. We also have an AI filter. So this allows you to create custom filters for keyword phrases using natural language AI. It says they'll filter the top 1,000 keywords by search volume based on your criteria. The example that it gives is show only Spanish keywords. We can even run a listing analyzer for our competitors to see where they may be missing out. Now, all of these keywords are not keyword opportunities. Not all of these keywords are even going to be ones that relate or that we should use or that have much search volume at all. So that's where these filters, especially the pre-built ones, come in super handy. So if I click opportunity keywords, you see here that it pre-fills a minimum search volume of 500. It shows me the competitor rank here and gives me a range of 1 to 15 and number of competitors 1 to 2. So that, yeah, this is showing that it has a decent search volume, but relatively low competition. So if we click on brand name removal, for example, then you'll see here now we have a much more streamlined list of 846 keywords, but there's an issue here because one of our top competitors has Best Bully Sticks as their brand name, which means that they have now removed all bully stick related keywords, even though they are absolutely within our liberty to be able to use. So these filters may not always be as functional as you want them to be, but that's just, you only know by testing. So I'm going to remove that filter. So I put it back on opportunity keywords and it has narrowed my list down to 222 filtered keywords. Now let's organize those by search volume and we see be dog treats for medium dogs. We do unfortunately see some brand keywords here. Pupford is a competitor, so there's a number of those that might not be super helpful. And so unfortunately, what we're seeing here, and this is just what's going to happen, is that many of these keywords are not necessarily related to our product in a way that's going to make them functional, but simultaneously, we may also identify some other keyword opportunities that we wouldn't have found otherwise. So this is really just about being very detailed and going through that keyword list and understanding what you are looking for and how to evaluate the keywords. So it shows us how many sales are being driven on that particular keyword, how it ranks it. So the Cerebro IQ score is going to indicate to us where some real golden opportunities would be. If I wanted to sort it by the Cerebro IQ score, we can see that there is an outmatched search volume for duck feet for dogs. Probably not a lot of option there. There's also a high Cerebro IQ score for beef liver, but that's one of those keywords that you need to be looking at with some nuance, because beef liver is also something that humans could be searching for their own consumption. So you wouldn't want to just look at a keyword like that on the surface and immediately be like, wow, there are over 10,000 searches a month for beef liver. This is that golden opportunity. You want to be doing a little bit of digging to see why there is a demand for beef liver. Is it that there are really a lot of people that are searching for beef liver treats for their dogs, or are there actually a lot of people that are searching beef liver for their own consumption? A keyword can tell you part of a story, but you're going to need to do your research. That might also include doing your research off of Amazon to understand where this demand and this interest is coming from, and whether this is indicating an opportunity or whether it's just false positive, if you will. So I'm going to remove this opportunity keywords as well, because I'm not finding it particularly helpful given the specific details of our product. And then you can see here, now I ran the filter for top keywords, and this is giving me, unsurprisingly, bully sticks for large dogs, bully sticks for small dogs, for medium dogs, dog bully sticks. So all of those just very straightforward keywords that are the most searched for my particular category. So some other filters that you might find particularly helpful are the excluding keywords. So if I know that there are some brand names that I don't want to show in the search results, like one field in particular that you'll probably find quite helpful is the exclude keyword. So if you know that there are forbidden keywords that you cannot use in your content, or brand names that you don't want to mistakenly use, or words that you just know are not actually relevant, then you can put those in the exclude filter, and that will just streamline things and make it much easier. So for example, I know that liver is not going to be helpful. Pupford is a brand name. Natural Farms is another. Although those Natural Farms I probably want to keep, because if they were separate, then that would be okay. So I'm going to just apply the filter with those two excluders, the Pupford and the liver. And we can see it narrowed it down a little bit. So that's where you're going to want to make sure that you understand how to utilize these filters, because nobody is wanting to manually reviewing 37,000 keywords. But at the same time, it's so helpful to be able to have access to this data and to be able to dig in and to filter it in different ways. So that is Cerebro. If your head is just exploding with overwhelm and you would like someone to help you not only with the keyword research process, but with just optimizing your listing and really taking this off of your plate, then please reach out and we would be happy to help. You can do that by filling out the free listing analysis form, which will also get you some feedback about how you can improve your listing to convert more of your target customers. That is at marketingbyemma.com/free analysis, or in the link in the comments for your description. So now let's go to Magnet, which is my favorite tool with Helium 10. And that is because I can get hyper specific, not only about the product itself, but perhaps circumstantial uses for it, specific ingredients. So like if you have a skincare item and you have a blend of different ingredients that do not present themselves in any of your competitors, you are going to want to make sure that you are still capturing the searches for keywords that are ingredient specific. So if you have evening primrose oil and squalene and peptides, etc., you're going to want to make sure that any keyword searches for each of those high value keywords that you are tapping into. And if you are only doing a reverse ASIN search around anti-aging face cream, then you might have keywords that are more specific to the function and the application and the style of product, but that have these gaps around the ingredients themselves. Similarly, if you are launching a product that is very unique, that there is no direct correlation with anything else that's sold on Amazon, then Magnet is going to be really helpful for you because you can search by function. And so this gives you the ability to be more flexible and creative in your keyword research so that you are truly identifying every single opportunity. Let's say for a keyword that we want to enter here, we could say long lasting dog treat for large dogs. So I'm searching a pretty long keyword phrase here. Let's see what Magnet gives me. Now, a more straightforward product like a bully stick is probably going to have all of the opportunities identified through a reverse ASIN search with Cerebro. This particular example may not be as exciting with the Magnet results as some other categories, but absolutely categories like skincare and supplements and food products, Magnet is going to be so important for you. So I've searched long-lasting dog treats for large dogs, and you can see here that it's giving me a list of 3,500 keywords. So it's much more consolidated than our Cerebro list. Let's just go ahead and sort by search volume. And so once more, it's going to give me a lot of keywords that are not necessarily related, but like dog bones, long lasting. Bones can also just be a way that customers are more generally referring to a chew, treat, or toy. So I would think that there is still high enough relevancy that that could be a keyword worth considering here. This dog bones long lasting is pretty high. Search volume, not super low competing products, but not nothing. And so I mentioned how Helium 10 gives you historical data, and that's where it's really cool. So like this dog bones long lasting, if I wanted to, I can see what the top ranked listings are on that specific word. And then over here where you see the search volume, if I click on this little graph, it shows me the last year what the trends have been. So there was a super big spike right around Christmas time. Perhaps people were buying their dogs Christmas gifts. I know in my family, the dogs both give and receive gifts, not only around the holidays, but also around birthdays. It was just my birthday, and my parents' dog, Lola, I guess she is my little sister, gave me a birthday card. So this is helpful to know because you might not assume that dog treats have that giftability to them, because for many people, dogs are really considered a member of their family. There is that holiday season gifting surge that is really important to capitalize on, and that you want to make sure that you are prepared for, both with your content assets as well as your SEO and advertising strategy. This historical data is just so valuable here. That's not just a cool graph with some interesting insights about past performance. This can literally reshape your content calendar and ad planning. Imagine being able to prepare and ramp up and capture that momentum before your competitors know what hits them. So this is the find suggestions. I can also have it analyze keywords. If I had a list of up to 200 keywords, then it will give me a detailed summary of those keywords. So quickly, in summary, Cerebro is going to be able to give you a bunch of keywords that are highly related to your direct competitors, whereas Magnet is going to allow for that more specific, tailored search that is going to really fill in all the gaps. So for us, when we are going through our keyword process, we will first start with Data Dive because it's also so helpful for then building out the listing, and then fill it in with Magnet in order to make sure that we cover every single opportunity that exists. We do not want to leave any golden keyword opportunity on the floor. Now that you've seen both tools in action, let's put it all together and talk about next steps. So you have your keywords, but you probably have a list that is too long. So how do you go about choosing what keywords to use and where to put them? Here is a simple prioritization framework that I use to really hone in on those keywords that we absolutely must use in the listing. So you want to start with the keywords that are high relevance and high buying intent. So what are those keywords that best describe your product and that demonstrate the customer is looking to make a purchase? Those should be prioritized primarily in your title and your bullets. Then we're going to look at those longer tail, maybe medium search volume keywords that reinforce the core offer and buyer needs. And then finally, those low competition keywords that may have the lowest search volume could be perfect for your backend or for your image keywords or for other places to be able to pepper them in. And speaking of backend search terms, this is another piece of your SEO strategy. So we're spending a lot of time thinking about what's actually going to be customer facing, but there are SEO fields on the back end as well that we want to be mindful of, and those can be a great place to put the keywords that you didn't have space for in the front part of your listing. Because this is also a place that customers don't see, it's a great place for alternate spellings or misspellings, keywords that don't fit naturally, other languages, and phrases that you didn't have space for when you were writing the copy of your listing. So here's a quick recap of the keyword checklist to tie it all together. Define your customer avatar. Use platform-specific keywords like Data Dive, Helium 10, or Amazon's own search query performance dashboard. Evaluate your findings for relevance, buyer intent, competition, seasonality, and search volume. Prioritize with the framework that we discussed, and then actually go ahead and implement those throughout your listing and then integrate them into your ad strategy. You can also download that worksheet that I mentioned. It is linked down below. I recommend that you snag yourself a copy. So now you've seen it all, from strategy to execution. You know how to research, evaluate, and implement high-value keywords into your Amazon listings. And if your head's spinning a little, that's totally normal. This process is powerful, but it can also be overwhelming when you're first learning it. That's why we offer a free analysis to help you identify those opportunities that you may not be able to spot on your own. So if you go to marketingbyemma.com, you can request yours today. But now that you have all of these keywords and you know where they belong and you know what to do, I think you need a proven framework that you can use to create your own $1 million Amazon listing. So go ahead and click on that video that should be popping up right now. I better see you over there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye.